Hi, everybody, and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. Got to say, today is a very sad day for me. As you can see, I've got my Jamaica top on, and I'm wearing that for a reason. I mean, yesterday I was extolling the virtues of the Unity Cup football match, which took place over at Brentford, West London. A great day out. Jamaica versus Nigeria in the Unity Cup final. Today, I was out having a meal, and I got some sad news, some very sad news actually. I got the news that the legendary Mike McCallum, the body snatcher, has passed away. Apparently, he took ill whilst driving in Las Vegas. He had the presence of mind to pull over the car, but obviously he was very ill and he was later found unresponsive. Now, Mike McCallum, there's so much to say about him, and obviously time is finite. I mean, I could go on talking about Mike McCallum all night long. Definitely one of my favourite fighters, absolute certified boxing legend. But where do I start? I mean, he was born in Kingston, Jamaica, in 1956. He was a brilliant amateur, winning, I think it's something like 240 out of 250 fights, culminating in a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in 1978. I think that was the same Commonwealth Games, by the way, that Barry McGuigan won his gold medal. Um, so yeah, an outstanding amateur, brilliant fighter. Mike McCallum was. As a professional, he was a world champion in three different weight classes: light middleweight, and light heavy. He was known for his high level of technical skill, his ring IQ, his ring generalship, his toughness, durability, amazing chin. So the story goes, he was never dropped amateur or pro. And of course, hence the nickname, the body snatcher. He was a devastating body puncher. And I actually witnessed that. I'll get to that later in the video. He was actually the first naturally born Jamaican to win a world title. I mean, there's been plenty of boxers with Jamaican heritage have won world titles, and several of them have done so. Too numerous to mention: Errol Spence, Chris Eubank, Lennox Lewis, to name but three. But yeah, Mike McCallum was the first naturally born Jamaican to win a world title, which he did by beating Sean Mannion for the light middleweight belt in 1984. He made six successful defenses of that title, including wins over the likes of Julian Jackson. And those of you who know your boxing know that Julian Jackson was one of the most ferocious hitters of ever in boxing. And Mike McCallum knocked him out in a couple of rounds. He also beat Donald Curry, knocked him out in 5 rounds, highlight reel knockout. He also beat Milton McCrory. So yeah, quality guys that he's beaten, and beaten soundly. He then moved up to middleweight, won the WBA middleweight champion of the world, beating Errol Graham. Many people's Errol Graham is a great fighter from this country, even though he didn't win a world title. A lot of people in this country, in the UK, will say that Errol Graham is probably the best fighter in the UK never to have gone on and won a world title. So that is a great win. He successfully defended the middleweight, but this is Mike McCallum, successfully defended that middleweight title 3 times, including wins over the legendary tough Steve Collins. We all know about Steve Collins, amazing fighter, beat Nigel Benn twice, beat Chris Eubank twice. So yeah, Mike McCallum's beaten him, beat him in America, in Boston, I think it was. He also beat Michael Watson, Mike McCallum did. Again, no mean feat. He then moved up to light heavyweight and won a further world title by defeating another very tough man, Jeff Harding. So listen, man, this guy, this guy Mike McCallum, his resume is superb and amazing fighter. I mean, I think he had something like 55 professional fights, 49 wins, 36 by knockout, 1 draw. That was with James Toney. He had had about 3 fights with James Toney, 1 draw, 2 losses. A lot of people said that they thought Mike McCallum won at least 2 of those fights. And that's the legendary James Toney. So that shows you just how good Mike McCallum was. He did have 5 losses. As I said, 2 disputed losses to James Toney. He also lost to Roy Jones, Fabrice Tiozzo, and he lost to Sumbe Kalambe, a loss that he avenged. Listen, man, Mike Callum was absolute brilliant fighter with great technical skills, and he's beaten some great fighters. Ayub Kalule, Julian Jackson, I spoke about, Milton McCrory, Dolan Curry, Sumba Kalambe, Errol Graham, Steve Collins, Michael Watson, Jeff Harding, and the list goes long. And it was said by a lot of people in the boxing game that Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns avoided Mike McCallum like the plague. With regards to Tommy Hearns, there's stories that was going around the gyms from way back when saying that Mike McCallum and Tommy Hearns used to spar quite heavily and quite hard. And when they did, 9 times out of 10, Mike McCallum would come out on top in the sparring. After Mike McCallum retired in 1997, I think it was, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think that was in 2003. Mike McCallum was also included in the Ring Magazine's list of top 10 middleweights in the last 50 years. That was in 2011. And he will definitely go down, Mike McCallum, as perhaps the greatest fighter ever to come out of the Caribbean. Certainly the greatest fighter ever to come out of Jamaica. And after boxing, Mike McCallum, he took up training, training fighters. He's been linked with fighters like Zab Judah, Devin Haney. I think he was also doing training white collar fighters. But he was an absolute certified legend, and passing away at the age of 68 is far too young for someone like Mike McCallum. As I said, an absolute certified boxing legend. And I've got to say as well, I actually saw Mike McCallum fight live in the flesh. And I remember it well. And the reason why I remember it well, because it was on the undercard of the Nigel Benn, Gerald McClellan fight. So that would have been February 1995, I believe it was, at Earl's Court. And he stopped, I think it was a guy called Carl Jones, in 7 rounds that night. And he looked brilliant in doing so. And I was so blessed to see him perform, because obviously I've been following him for a while. So yeah, I mean, this is a little tribute to Mike McCallum. As I said, definitely up there with the very best in the world. Definitely one of the boxing goats for me. Definitely, in my opinion, definitely one of the boxing goats. An absolute brilliant technician, but not just a brilliant technician. He had it all. He had the guts, he had the toughness, he had the heart, he had the skills. Apparently, he was a really nice guy outside the ring as well. I know a couple of people that have met him. I personally wasn't fortunate enough to meet him, but I've spoken to at least 2 people that have met him, and they said, Laurie, he's a great guy. So, and I believe that. He's been immortalized in reggae music. Various dancehall artists have called him out in his songs, and so they should do. Absolute legend, absolute stalwart of boxing, not just in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, but around the world. So, yeah, this is just a tribute to Mike McCallum. Very sad day, but I'm blessed to have seen that guy in action, see him fight live. And I also feel blessed to be able to do this video and to give my personal tribute to a guy that I consider to be definitely one of the all-time greats. So listen, that's all from me. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, I would appreciate it. Also, if you like, share and subscribe and pass the word on, trying to get the word out there for LL Sports. But listen, now, thank you so much. It's been a sad day, but Mike McCallum, rest in peace, legend.